Good morning, everybody. It's a dog with you with another edition of Weber This Week on the 23rd of March, 2015. And we welcome special guest this morning, Dennis Leahy, the general manager of Seneca Falls Country Club, taking over that position and starting up, believe it or not, clubs open up a week from this Wednesday, April the 1st. Oh, my. We're going to talk to Denny about snow blowing and getting that all set up. But all seriousness, folks, the winter that will not end here in the Finger Lakes. I was telling Dennis and Jimmy before we went on air this morning, as I approach the magical 70 in another 6 weeks or so, 5.5 weeks, April 29th to be exact, hold the gifts. But I got to tell you something, I can't recall in my history a winter like this one that won't go away. Yesterday morning, wake up, it's snowing. Get up Saturday morning, it's snowing. What's going on with this weather? And by the way, it's supposed to be 53 on Wednesday, which will help with the snow removal. Good morning, everybody. It's good to have you with us. Hope you all had a great weekend. I hope you didn't get too much March Madness as you watch a lot of NCAA basketball. I was watching back and forth, clicking channels. And, of course, we're going to go through the Sweet 16, get Dennis and Denny's and Jimmy's opinion on what might happen. Can Kentucky lose? And how about Wichita State? We'll get to that in just a minute. Without further ado, it's good to have my friend Dennis Leahy spend some time with us this morning. Denny, good to have you along.
Thanks for having me in today.
Love to have you in and talk about, for folks that may not know you, give us your background about where you were born, where you went to school, and what you're presently doing other than running the country club this year.
I grew up about an hour north of New York City and grew up, had a lake house, around here and worked at the club for the past 4 years. Went to St. John Fisher College. Sport management guy, so it was a good job to have in the summer. And looking forward to a great opportunity this year and really excited to see some snow melt and get some carts out there. And
let's get rolling.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now, I did see you at the New York Chiropractic College. You do some part-time work down there as well?
I did. To finish up my time at Fisher, I did an internship there with Rhett.
Okay.
Taccone. He's a great guy.
Yeah,
and,
he is.
Yeah, hopefully we can get him down at the club this year some more, and he does a great job over there.
Well, Denny, of course, going to be overseeing the country club as a general manager, and I know he'll do a good job. Myself and John King and Brad Jones, he sees us a lot down there at all kinds of weird times, usually early in the morning. But then let's talk about the country club as a whole. I know golf clubs are looking for members, and that's okay. Private clubs, club anymore, public courses, etc. Always looking to attract new membership. Looking. Well, I know I'm biased because I've been there 20 years. 2 years I couldn't play because of a back problem. But in all honesty, what Jimmy has done and what you have done and the board have done is they've come up with a nice offer, a nice deal, which I think is pretty sweet when you consider that the benefits that you get, $1,200 with tax, it's like $1,296. But the beauty of the membership is phenomenal, is you get a cart. And that cart is anytime you want it, whether you want to play 4 holes or 56 holes or 60 holes. You just keep driving around the club, and that to me, Dennis, is a tremendous benefit, the cart.
Absolutely.
It allows people, and I just think that as you look at me now and talking about the show and talking about Seneca Falls Country Club, think about the benefits. And we have Jimmy, who's the president of the club and the head of our board of directors. Certainly, Jimmy, you can chime in as well. You've played a lot of golf courses around, and I know you're probably a little biased being the head of the club, but seriously, look at the benefits, the league opportunities, you have parties down there, et cetera, et cetera. It's just a good deal all around.
I'd call it the best deal in local golf.
Yeah, it is a phenomenal deal.
And, it's funny in the golf industry, inflation and gas prices, everything else kind of goes up, but prices for golf have gone down over the past 10, 15 years. So, it's really affordable, and it gets you to the point where, for such a small investment, you can break that up monthly too over 12 months.
Sure.
That you can, on a whim on a Tuesday night at 6:30, go down, grab a cart.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And just head out to the 15th hole if that's where an opening is and play 3 holes. Or,
exactly.
Or come down and putt a little bit, then go out and play 3 holes. Or, you get your regular groups playing 2-3 times a week. But, if you're going to play 2 times a week, you do the math, and it's a great deal to join under that deal. And just the fringe benefits of having access to the golf course at any time for as long as, whether it's to just head out and play 3 quick holes or to play 36 or 54.
And by the way, Denny, we should point out, if you join the club as a member down there, there are a lot of advantages. One of the advantages, you get preferred tee times for Saturday and Sunday morning, Denny.
Absolutely.
Talk a little bit about that as far as getting times you get locked in. The ones that have had them previous years, you carry them over. but there's also other slots that people can sign up for as long as they're members.
Yeah, absolutely. For those tee times, Saturday, Sunday morning, that are, highly coveted by the members. So, the other ones are going to roll over. People have already started to contact me if they want their same time.
Oh, sure.
And so that's definitely a great benefit to have. I know you like going out early.
Oh, we do. We
a lot of people
early.
like those early morning on the weekends so they can get back with their family and stuff like that. So
I enjoy it because
deal.
I can play golf early in the morning. I'm up early anyways, up at 5:30 or so, and myself and Brad Jones and John King, the illustrious threesome. Why do we have a foursome? Nobody else wants to play with us. And Dennis, and we'll talk about Dennis's staff in a minute too. Bob's always been busting our chops. Maybe put an ad in the paper about to get a fourth, but we'll continue. With me and Brad and King. John King and Brad Jones and myself, it's hilarious, really. And Jimmy just shakes his head when he sees us three because he never knows what to expect. But we have a good time, and we like playing early because it gives me an opportunity to go home and watch the PGA Tour on TV and relax for the afternoon. And I never could understand leaving on a hot summer day at 12 o'clock after having lunch, in the dining room, and people coming in to play. I always thought, wow, we're done. It's nice. And here they come, and that's okay. People like playing in hot weather. Some people do. I like to play early, and the greens are beautiful. You get a chance to enjoy the benefits.
I'll play anytime I can get out there.
Yeah, I know. That's right. But Danny, let's talk about your staff. You're going to be overseeing the club this year, embracing the members that have been around a long time, certainly, and new members. We want to encourage you to take part in Seneca Falls Country Club Drive. Talk about the staff that will be assisting you in the club and greeting the people that come in and getting all set and go.
We've got Bob DeFonda. He's been there 2 years, I believe.
Yeah.
And he's done a great job.
Yeah,
and,
he is a good guy.
Valuable asset for us. And Harry Hyde's coming back too.
Harry, good.
Which is, one of the guys I started running with when I first came to the club, and really excited to have him back. He worked last year at goes to Methodist, worked at Southern Hills. So he's got some good experience coming back to the club. So he's going to help me out a ton. So those two guys are good guys that I can lean on, big during tournaments and stuff like that. So I'm excited to have them back.
And by the way, just so you know, we are promoting Seneca Falls Country Club today, and every reason too. If you have an event, if you have a retirement party, if you have a big anniversary party, a class reunion, a wedding, whatever, right, Jimmy?
Sure. Shower.
Contact Denny, and he'll get you the right people to organize this and get it all set up for you.
Great room, great food.
I mean, it's
great
just something.
Staff.
Yeah, it's something you need to understand that the Seneca Falls Country Club is got a beautiful dining room, and the food is phenomenal. You can order what you want, and the pricing will be reasonable. And certainly, if you want to take advantage of the country club, we're more than just a golf club.
Absolutely.
And that's the thing that you gotta understand. So again, golf clubs are officially opening up April 1st, which is a week from Wednesday, and we'll just have to keep our fingers crossed. And as Jimmy's shooting some film or some slides of the country club, I always find Seneca Falls amazing. Our signature hole, of course, is still number 16, which is a classic hole. And of course, a lot of people have to be hard pressed to find a hole as difficult as that one. That one can give you some gray hair, which I have plenty of.
Well,
so,
when the pros come and play in the Pro-Am over the years, they used to keep statistics, and it was the most difficult hole that they played all year. So honestly, that's why we promoted on the website, SenecaFallsCountryClub.com, the most difficult hole in Central New York, because it really is statistically when the best players play it. So when you come as an amateur and you step up on that tee, it's quite a challenge, and you feel pretty fulfilled and good about yourself if you make a par.
Yeah. You don't want to hit a left. You don't want to hit a right. You want to watch out for that water on the left side of that green. a lot of challenges. Dennis Leahy is our guest this morning. He's going to be the general manager of the Seneca Falls Country Club starting up officially April 1st.
No, he's officially now.
He's officially now. He's underway. All right. So
we're doing a lot of work to prepare for the season here.
Oh, I know. And by the way, as we talk about opportunities too, Denny, we ought to point out league opportunities. Talk a little bit about the leagues. We got Monday Night Men's. Myself and Peter Pazos are going to get into this year. We've been wanting to get in there, and we decided we're going to team up this year and play in that. So that's the Monday Night League, and that's a 9-hole event, correct?
9-hole, yep. You and a partner.
Right.
You play everybody in the field,
right.
Which is nice. Before it was kind of flights and stuff like that. So Jason Peralt's done a great job of kind of revamping the style a little bit. And last year it was, everyone really loved it.
That's good.
So we're hoping to really expand on that this year. Drop the price a little bit, which is good too. So hopefully we can make it available to more people. And all the information is up on SenecaFallsCountryClub.com, and fill out the application and hand it into the shop.
And now if you're a member of the country club, it's a deal off the Monday Night League because you don't have to pay the greens fee portion, right?
Right. So you just pay, I believe it's $50 down is what you pay, that everyone pays, and that would be your only fee for the whole year, which is nice. We do a skins game too, which people like to do, but again, that's optional. You don't have to do it if you don't want to.
But if you play in the league, you can then become a member, and it discounts it off that deal even more.
Right.
I mean, it's almost like a no-brainer. So, geez, I haven't done do the math right in my head, but basically, if you're a member of Monday Night League and you take advantage of that deal, the $1,200 golf with cart deal, it's like another savings of $400. So you're almost joining the country club for $800, which is just unbelievable.
Yeah, it's good. And now about, let's see, Monday Night Golf League, then Tuesday is, we have the seniors, right? They play early Tuesday morning, right?
Tuesday morning seniors, yep. Right. And then we have the Gould's League in the afternoon, as well as the ladies' league, which their information is up online as well if you were looking to join that. I know they're looking for some more players as well.
How about Wednesday? Wednesday's an open day?
Wednesday's an open day.
Okay.
Yep. And Thursday is the men's twilight.
Right.
And that's up as well.
Okay.
Mention Wednesday being open. It's kind of an unofficial league.
Right.
A lot of the better players, and not only better players, but a lot of guys show up. You sign your name on the list by 4 o'clock, and then we make groups, and you go out and play 18 holes. Everybody throws in 10, 15 bucks, and so that's kind of another unofficial league. The course is open, but sometimes we get 25, 30 guys showing up to play Wednesday nights, and it's really open to anybody.
Good. Okay. That's excellent. And if Brad wants to join, he can't tee off from the Golds? Is that right?
No. If Brad wants to play on Wednesday night, he has to play the Blues.
I don't think he understands what the Blues are. Are they the ones in the back? Wow. You're going to have him. You better have an EMTs nearby.
Well, I haven't seen him show up once yet. So, or you. I haven't seen you play on Wednesday night either.
If I hit my driver decently, I can get it off the tee from the Blues. I'm not, going to hit sandwich it on number 16.
Yeah, and it's not that much big,
No, I know. It
honestly,
really
if you
isn't.
play the blue tees, you might manage the course a little different.
Yeah,
so,
you're right.
On hole 16 or
four,
hole 4,
four
is a big
makes a big
difference. But you
difference.
play it as a par 5, and you make a 5, and you're happy. And a lot of times, you probably make a 5 anyways.
Oh, you're right. No, that's true. You think about it, there really isn't that big of a gap if you think about the layout of the course. Really,
Par
it's not a
threes.
factor in one. It's a factor, obviously, against gold and blue from the second hole.
And
Not a big
fifth
swing on number 3. A couple yards, right? A few yards.
No,
3.
nothing really.
4, it's good
Pretty,
size.
yeah, pretty big.
5, it's okay. Not great.
No.
6.
6 is a big difference.
Big difference. Oh, yeah, big difference between the golds and the blues. Are you kidding me? 7, not really. Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah, all the par 3s are probably a good 30-yard difference.
8 is definitely coming out of the chute.
Yeah.
Yeah, so there's a lot of difference. So
well, I'm saying it is a difference, but I think you would find if you played the blues for like 2-3 rounds, your scores would not be significantly higher. I think that you would probably end up, around the same when it was all said and done, because most of scoring in golf happens around the green.
No, you're right. Jimmy, I've worked my life to get to be 70 in another 5 weeks. We finally get a benefit of being 70, which is gold tees permissible.
Do you think you're going to start shooting your age?
I don't know. I like to think I did break 80 a couple times last year in the gold. So, God.
Getting to the point where maybe you can start thinking about shooting your age.
Oh, wouldn't that be spectacular? Oh, I'll have to let you know. But I think best round I've ever had from the golds was a 77. So that's, from the golds.
Yeah.
Golds is a big advantage. I admit, I want to, ask Denny to remind Brad Jones that he's really not eligible, Dennis. And John King and myself are legal because John just turned 70 in October of last year.
Oh, yeah?
So him and me will be legal. You need to harass Brad when he shows up.
I will.
That he should not be teeing off from the golds. That's just against the character of the game. Wouldn't you agree, Jim?
Yeah,
maybe we'll get Jim to send a letter as the president of the club.
A decree that
I think so.
Specifically for Brad.
I'll send you the wording. You can forward it on with your signature. We're having some fun here this morning. It's Weber this week. Dennis Leahy, our new general manager at the Seneca Falls Country Club. We're going to take a commercial break. When we come back, we're talking Sweet 16, baby. March Madness. Stay with us. Cayuga Lake National Bank. Bill Ryan and his team for all of your banking needs. Offices in Union Springs and Aurora. A fine sponsor of this show for over 30 years. DA Liquors, Seneca Falls. Amy Padula and her great team will find that right spirit for you every time. Tell Amy the dog sent you. Steve Wadhams, Wadhams Enterprises, your employer of choice. Proud supporter of this show and local athletics. Bob and Leslie Oman, owners of the Oman Theater in Lyons, as well as the Newark Pilots, a minor league baseball team with a major league ballpark. SenecaFallsCountryClub.com, awesome 18-hole layout, offering a 12-month payment plan. Wilson Press, WPress.com, Seneca Falls. Rich Ricky, my good friend, and his team can handle all of your printing and mailing needs. Welcome back, everybody. It's a dog with you. Just a reminder, next week there will be no Weber. This week, stop applauding. We will not be here next week, so again, we're off. Keep in mind, the 6th is up in the air right now, but the 13th of April, we hope to have Judge Dennis Bender, who I've been trying to get in as a guest to be on the couch, talk about his job. What a tough job he's got. Judge Dennis Bender, slated for April 13th, which is a Monday. By the way, if you're keeping track, that's the day after Masters, which, of course, is the greatest golf tournament in the world and the best coverage in the world. So Dennis Bender expected to be here on the 13th of April. But given his schedule, we'll have to play it day by day. But again, we will not be on the air next week with Weber this week. We'll keep you posted on upcoming shows. Let's talk about Zach Young, our good friend, being a Lyons native, having been born in Lyons, New York. I really was excited about Zach and his team. They've made a miraculous, had a great run during the regular season, led by the incomparable Damon Hunter and the rest of that phenomenal Lyons basketball team. And Jimmy, you had a chance to watch them up close and personal. I can't think of any adjectives to describe what an outstanding year that Zach and his team had, and I can't say enough good things about them. They should be very proud in Lyons, New York for that team.
What a lot of people don't understand is that they weren't expected to go to the state finals or be state. You know, a sectional title was certainly within their grasp, but in their particular Class C 3, it was a really tough road.
Yep.
And they won at home against Cuba Rushford, which was no pushover. Then they played a really, really good Wheatland Chili team in Bloomfield and beat them in a great game. Mm-hmm. And then they went to the sectional finals where they had to play a charter school, RCMCS, which was just stacked with athletes. And they were down, I think, 20 or 19-4, I think, in the first quarter. Mm-hmm. Came back and won that game.
Yep.
And then they move on to the state tournament, or actually the sectional qualifiers, where they have to play another charter school early college, the C1 champs. Yep. And then they go ahead and beat them in overtime. Or no, that one wasn't overtime. The next one against Cal Mum was overtime. So they beat the C1 and C2 champs, go to the state tournament, beat Buffalo's middle early college, which I also went to that game, Rush Henrietta, and they looked like a college team.
Yeah, I know.
And then finally the run ends in Glens Falls. But boy, I'll tell you what a treat it was for myself and Matt Verkey and Rhett Taccone. We went and called the game on Finger Lakes 1 radio. We weren't allowed to do any video at all. And it was one of the thrills of my professional life was calling that game from Glens Falls. We had well over 1,000 listeners.
That's awesome.
They pumped our broadcast through the PA system at the school.
Nice.
So, I mean, we had over 1,000 live listeners, but in reality, we probably had double that or maybe even triple that. So it was just awesome to be 3 hours away in Glens Falls with that Lions team and bringing the action back to so many people who had so much interest in it. It was a big thrill. Unfortunately, they didn't play their best game, and but it doesn't diminish anything that team accomplished. And so for Zach Young, who's in a great lineage of coaches, starting with Dick Blackwell, Jim Boeheim's coach, Rod Verkey, Steve Veeder, and am I missing anybody? But now Zach, I think he's kind of put himself in that line now with those other great coaches. Yep. 2 sectional titles and a state Final Four in his first 5 years.
It's phenomenal.
So it was awesome, and gonna miss watching Damon Hunter.
And by the way, Jimmy, you don't want to embellish this, but seriously, I think it's important to bring it up this morning. We had 29 games that we broadcast this year as a team.
The game Friday in Glens Falls was number 29.
Jimmy is doing the final documentation of viewers, and I believe we're going to crack the 100,000 mark.
Yeah, we'll wait another week or two before we officially add it up because people are still watching
amazing.
it. But, it's this year was like a breakthrough year for our coverage, and so it gets us excited at the possibility to sell more sponsorships next year and do more games next year and do more different things, better coverage, and it's exciting because winter is hard around here.
Oh, yeah.
So at least, you can stay home and watch a little high school basketball in Finger Lakes 1.
Well, I had a chance to do a few games. I really got excited about it. Looking forward to doing a few more next year. Certainly to Brendan Harrington and Dave Barnick, and Jimmy did a lot of the play-by-play too. We had a great crew.
Corsi, Verke, Alessio, Tani Robinson, Zach called the game, Rhett Taccone, camera guys. Dennis ran camera for us a little bit. Jeremy and Jason Hunt.
I mean, phenomenal.
And
nice
the whole reason it's good is the whole reason it's so successful is because of everybody on our team
and it's
the
funny,
different personalities.
Looking at Dennis, I remember our first broadcast was at the college, the doubleheader, and I had the chance to do play-by-play for both games, and I saw you there.
Dennis was interning there that time.
Yeah, it was amazing, and now all of a sudden it's all gone, but it's over. But we'll be back, and I'm sure Jimmy will put together quite an interesting schedule for next year, and if you would like to sponsor, speaking of sponsorships, you'd like to sponsor our upcoming basketball for next year, keep it in mind. Get a hold of Jimmy. And
contact at fingerlakes1.com. Send us an email. Contact at fingerlakes1.com.
We have a lot of people checking out those games. All right, guys, let's talk about the Sweet 16. March Madness. Dennis, I know you're a big basketball fan. I know Jimmy is as well. I've been saying right along, I know I'm on the chalk side of the horse, like a horse at Finger Lakes Racetrack coming out of Belmont. Should win it easily by 9 lengths. Usually does. Kentucky, of course, being the odds-on favorite in Las Vegas, even money, amazing. I don't know anything that I've seen so far, Denny, in the first couple of games where I'm off that bandwagon. I still think there's a superior team. They wipe out Cincinnati the other day, as I told the story. Went out to get a car, come back in, the game is tied, and they're up by 7 in 2 minutes. Dennis, your comment on Kentucky, they're amazing.
I don't think anybody can get them this year. It's
amazing.
Just not in. We were talking about before we got on the air. Their best, contest might be their second team.
Yeah, I know.
If you play, put Kentucky B out there, you've got still probably 4 McDonald's All-Americans.
They got nine out of
total.
The 10. 9 out of the 10 are McDonald's.
So they're just so exciting to watch, and Calipari. Say what you want about him, but he's got the group motivated. He's got them motivated, and Cauley Stein, I think, is one of my favorite guys to watch. The way he runs the floor as a 7-footer, and just plays with a good motor, and I think he's going to be a good NBA player.
I love Charles Barkley. Love him or hate him, you got to love his opinions. For TNT, the commentator, Charles Barkley, of course, the legendary All-American, everything out of Auburn University. I love his comment when he was talking about Kentucky. He said, listen, you folks out there don't get it. When Calipari takes 2 7-footers out of the game, he replaces them with 2 7-footers, and they're just as good. I remember that remark just the other day. It cracked me up. Listen, that's the way it is with Kentucky. I mean, nobody in the world can compete with that, I don't think. By the way, let's run down the games coming up this coming week for the Sweet 16. Jimmy, the line come out, Vegas line, which, of course, they play for money. They don't build those major casinos out there by winning. Kentucky, 13.5-point favorite against West Virginia. Say goodnight to West Virginia. I think that's going to be a cakewalk. It'll be whatever it is.
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't see any problem there. Notre Dame, of course, the coach of the Notre Dame team loses his mom the other day. They got a good game against Wichita State, Jimmy. And all those years at Wichita State did not want to play, or Kansas did not want to play Wichita State, because Wichita State had an upcoming program. They were worried about them losing to them interstate.
Sure.
Guess what, Jimmy? The seeding put it together, and Kansas gets nailed.
Yeah, Kansas got up 8 or 9 in the first half. Lost that league, ended up losing. It wasn't even close. So good for them.
Wichita State.
But either Wichita State or Notre Dame can give Kentucky a game. No matter how good anybody is in college basketball, it's a 40-minute game.
No, you're right. You're right.
And Notre Dame has shooters. They can spread the floor. If they are hot from outside, that they have a good chance. Jerian Grant, great leader. And if you don't believe in Wichita State after watching what they did to Kansas,
it'll be interesting.
Fred Van Fleet is fun to watch. Wichita State. He's good player.
So Notre Dame, a 1-point favorite against Wichita State. The winner of that game would play let's say, Kentucky, folks. Let's move on. Wisconsin, you got to give them credit. Wisconsin, a 5-point favorite over North Carolina. That game is coming up, obviously, this week. Wisconsin, a 5-point favorite against North Carolina. Arizona, no respect for the likes of Xavier. They're a 10-point favorite. Arizona over the likes of Xavier.
I like Arizona that
Me too. I think Arizona is one of the favorites, along with Gonzaga.
Up and down Louisville. They made it to the Sweet 16. They're a 2.5-point favorite, according to Las Vegas, against North Carolina State. You don't know what to expect when you watch Louisville. I never do.
You don't know what to expect when you watch North Carolina State
Yeah,
either. So, but it's a very good start to the tournament for the ACC.
Yep.
Which I don't know how I feel about that.
Yeah.
I spent my whole life rooting for ACC teams to lose and rooting for Big East teams to win.
No,
And
it's hard.
even when Syracuse was out,
Sure.
that was what kept me going. Now I'm just watching these games. I don't really know who to root for or who I want to win. It's not as much fun.
Michigan State, a 1.5-point favorite against Oklahoma. Michigan State, nice team. Again, nice team. They always get tough in those tournaments, don't they?
Yeah,
Michigan State.
I think Michigan State is kind of quietly coming together at the right time of the year. Trice, they got some good guards. Trice is fun to watch. It almost looked like Kentucky there at the end. They just cleared everybody out and they said, go to the basket and make something happen. So Izzo is a great coach, and they seem to be peaking at the right time. So.
Well, that's a good, interesting thing about Michigan State. They're a 7 seed. Wisconsin's a 1 seed.
Right.
But in the Big Ten tournament just a week ago, Wisconsin should have lost to Michigan State. It was a bad call.
Right.
Everything is so close. Even with a dominant team by Kentucky, they're not unbeatable. Any one of these teams we talked about could beat them on any given day. And so that's why they call it March Madness.
And by the way, you can love them or hate them. The Duke Blue Devils are back in the Sweet 16. They're a 5-point favorite against Utah. And by the way,
I'll choose to hate 'em.
a program reminder. 30 for 30 on ESPN. There's a 90-minute show entitled "I Hate Kristen Leitner." People who follow college basketball remembers Kristen Leitner, the phenomenal player, kind of dirty, very arrogant, very pompous, but he has some amazing records. Freshman, sophomore, junior, senior, all Final Fours. Not too many kids can say that. Kristen Leitner. The show is entitled "I Hate Kristen Leitner." Check it out, folks. I watched it the other day. I taped it and watched it. It's a phenomenal background of why people hate Kristen Leitner and all the stuff he was involved in when he was at school.
Yeah,
Interesting character. So the show is entitled "I Hate Kristen
But
Leitner."
even that is an example of how fickle this game is. He steps on a guy.
Yeah, he doesn't get tossed.
Doesn't get tossed because he's wearing a Duke uniform.
You're right.
Then goes on to make that historic shot.
Yeah, that's right. That's a great
which propels Duke into another level of, and if he was thrown out of the game or if he misses that shot, do we say that Coach Krzyzewski's the greatest coach ever today?
I hear you.
It's and then you look at Jim Boeheim, who in 1987 did everything right, had a great team, went up against a great Indiana team, and a guy named Keith Smart hits a fadeaway, desperation jumper with Howard Trish in his face and costs them a national. So it's just such a fine line between what we perceive as being blue blood and dominant and successful in college basketball and underachieving. Even Tom Izzo's only got, I think, 1 title. He's been to the Final Four, it seems, a million times, but he's only won once. It's very, very difficult.
And you sports fans can recognize this with the "I Hate Kristen Leitner" story that I'm promoting to watch, because it's a really interesting show. He's kind of an arrogant guy, but in his heyday, who was he playing with? The guard Bobby Hurley, of course, now coaching the University of Buffalo. And they had a love-hate relationship, which the show will break out for you. So definitely check it out. "I Hate Kristen Leitner" on ESPN. I think the show's 30 for 30. By the way, the other game that's going to be played, Gonzaga, they're there again. 9.5-point favorite against UCLA. If I was in Las Vegas, I think I'd take the 9.5. Gonzaga's a nice team, too.
Yeah, I like UCLA. It's one of those, the classic of they don't deserve to be there, and then they use that narrative to motivate them. Interesting goaltend call in their earlier win. I don't think I've ever seen a game end like that, the way that ends. But I feel like whatever side you're on, in that moment, at the official to judge whether or not that ball had a chance, that's a tough call. I don't know. In hindsight and replay, maybe it looks clear, but the goaltending call in general, I think, is just so tough for officials.
And they can't review it,
which
is kind of weird. But it's another thing about basketball. This is happening live. One call can swing at anything, and it's just it's a crazy game.
I have to admit, it's great. March Madness, folks, get ready, get revved up. I know my wife's happy because there's no basketball on this coming Thursday and Friday in the afternoon. I mean, early afternoon, to disrupt her soap operas. That was really upsetting my wife Mary. So, and her and millions of other people that watch the soap operas are excited knowing that they only lost last Thursday and Friday editions of the Young and Restless and the Bold and Beautiful. So that's important for a lot of people.
Did you guys watch Gonzaga play?
I didn't see it, no.
I think that they are the best team other than Kentucky in the tournament. I think this is the best Gonzaga team we've seen. I think Mark Few is due.
Yeah.
And I really like Gonzaga, and I've reflected that in my pools and drafts and whatever I did. I got a lot of I'm riding on Gonzaga.
Go Gonzaga. Well, Denny Leahy has been our special guest. We've been hashing about it. Believe it or not, it's almost 10 o'clock. It is 10 o'clock right now. Denny, let's recap. The Seneca Falls Country Club officially opens April 1st. Of course, we got to get the snowblowers out there. But before you know, you got your team down there working, getting ready to go. Reminder to all our members that the league applications are out. And they can go in
Absolutely.
at SenecaFallsCountryClub.com.
Yes. Yep.
And they can print them off and get them all done and drop them off at the pro shop.
Yep.
And off we go. Again, folks, Denny and his team will do a great job. And I'm urging you that if you're a golfer and you really like to play, it's really a nice layout down at Seneca Falls. We have a good time. We got a great staff. We have a lot of fun. Go in, have a couple drinks afterwards. Not too much, just a couple. Enjoy the nice food they're going to have down there. And again, I think that you got to emphasize, I've had people tell me, if you have a rehearsal party, a stag party, a wedding, class reunion,
maybe you have a birthday party that's too big for your home.
Yeah, anything, get a hold of Denny and he'll contact the right people that put this thing together and give you a price and do whatever you want to set up your special event. And that's important.
Absolutely.
And so we want to urge you, and again, take advantage of that country club membership, $1,200. With tax, it's $1,296. And folks, you get a cart. The cart is really ultra. It is a spectacular deal. $1,200 with tax is $1,296, but you get a cart. And again, as Jimmy pointed out, as Dennis has pointed out, you can use it any time you want. You can play 100 holes a day if you want to play. I don't care. And I don't think Denny cares. Just keep driving around, having fun, hacking a ball and just hitting it. I don't care what tee you play because you'll probably see us from the golds, but we'll have a good time anyways. So, Denny, thanks a lot for joining us.
Well, thanks for having me on.
Yeah, thanks, Dennis.
We'll have you back in the mid-year, get an update how things are going.
All right. Sounds good.
All right, folks.
Hey, Doug, real quick, while we're talking about golf, I should let you know that the Finger Lakes Golfer podcast with myself and Bob LaPrade will return.
Yes.
What's the first Monday in April?
April 6th.
So it'll be April 13th will be our first episode on Monday night at 9 o'clock, I think.
Okay, that's when we hope to have Dennis Bender here the morning of that day.
No, it'll be a big day for Finger Lakes 1 TV.
Oh, baby, is it ever going to be? Hey, folks, enjoy the basketball. Let's hope and pray we get this winter out of here and finally get some nice weather, maybe a couple 50s back-to-back. Take care, everybody. We won't be here next week, so enjoy the fact that I won't be here, but we'll be back and keep you posted when we return to the airwaves. So take care, everybody. Speaking for my special guest, Dennis Leahy, and owner and producer, Jim Senecropi, this is the dog saying, that's a look at Weber this week. My way.
By becoming a patron of FingerLakes1.com. Visit patreon.com/FL1.
FingerLakes1.com. Come on and join